بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين إلى يوم الدين أما بعد ذلك ومن يعظم شعائر الله فإنها من تقوى القلوب. Whoever honors the symbols of Allah, whoever respects the signs of Allah, thus respect, the outcome will lead to piety of the hearts. The fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has accepted somebody for this Mubarak and blessed journey is the favor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we have to firstly make a lot of shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At the same time, the shukr, the gratitude, the qadr, the value is fulfilling the haqq of that amal. Allah has given us life, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us wealth, Allah has made us free from deficiencies. These are all bounties. Displaying gratitude will be to use our wealth, to use our bodies, to use our resources in the obedience of Allah Jalla Jalaluhu. Otherwise, every second is either an asset or a liability. It's up to us to decide. And when going to these Mubarak places, we can accelerate the value, like how Ramadan accelerates the value of deeds. Ramadan is the month of acceleration towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and getting close proximity to Allah. Likewise, these are Mubarak places as well. So we should value this acceptance. And it shouldn't be like a farmer who was digging in his farm. He came across a box. He opened the box and was thrilled to find stones which he would use to get rid of the crows. And the children would use as toys. So he gave it to the kids, he used it to get rid of the crows. Eventually the entire box became depleted. One day his friend from the city came to visit, and one of the kids was playing with a stone. So he seen the stone, he said, "This looks phenomenal. Have you got it valued in the city?" He said, "No, it's just simple stones. Why should I value it?" He said, "No, if ever you go in the city, try to get a valuation." It happened, he was going to the city, he took it worth, he looked for the store, his friend told him to look for, he went to the jeweler, on the counter placed the stone. When the jeweler looked at the stone, he looked at this farmer, he could not believe his eyes. So he inquired from the farmer, are you willing to sell this? Are you ready to sell this? He said, "Yes." So sometimes when you get a good deal and somebody wants to take advantage of somebody, then they go for the kill. So he said, "Here's a bichara farmer who doesn't have a clue. Let me try my luck." And he said, "I will give you 100,000 for it." When the farmer heard that, he started crying. So the jeweler, baffled by this action, thought, so maybe the farmer knows the value of the stone and have undervalued it. So let me increase the value. That's why he is in tears. So he said, "Okay, I'll give you 150,000. As the farmer heard that, he started tearing more. He started going hysterical. Now the jeweler realized that people outside will find out and it's bad for my reputation. So I rather give him a higher value." So he said, "Okay, final value 200,000. When the farmer heard this, he fell unconscious. So now the jeweler, again very distressed, tried to revive the farmer. Eventually when he regained consciousness, he said, don't worry, I'll give you more. Tell me how much you want. Tell me how much you want." So the farmer with tears in his eyes, said, "It's not about how much I want, it's about how much I had. I had an entire box of these stones. I used to pelt the crows, the kids used to play with it. I've only got one left. That's why I'm so traumatized." So like that, every second that we have is a diamond, is a precious stone, which either will be wasted with playing games, wasting time, throwing our money in activities, throwing our time, throwing our resources, felt in activities which are not beneficial, not in dunya and not in akhirah. Likewise, to start sitting in the company of the sulaha, the awliya, the ahlullah, people who will remind you of Allah. Ar-rajulu ala dini khalilihi. A person will imbibe the qualities of his company. So we should see who is spending time with. On the safar, also very important. In the past, the mashayikh were very particular when it was the ayyam of Hajj or going to the Baytullah. Ayyub Sakhtiyani rahmatullah alayhi say, "Inna mimma yaziduni raghbatan fil Hajj." One of the things which motivates me to go into the Baytullah is that I meet the ulama, I meet the scholars, and I take benefit from them. So they looked forward to going to these Mubarak places. You've got a heterogeneous, you've got a array of scholars across the globe, and those scholars which you've heard of internationally, this is an opportunity to go meet them and take their du'as. So Muhammad Ibn Fadl used to say that, narrating from his father, "Hajjajtu ma Ahmed," I made Hajj with Imam Ahmed Ibn Hambal, وَنَزَلْنَا فِي مَكَانٍ, and we stopped at a certain place. Then we arrived, we unpacked, then we read Fajr Salat, and we were in the masjid. And فَجِئْتُ إِلَى مَجْلِس, I came to the majlis of Sufyan bin Uyayna rahmatullahi alayhi. From his majlis, he says, وَكُنْتُ أَدُورُ مَجْلِسًا مَجْلِسًا. Now that I was in this majlis, I couldn't find Imam Ahmed. So I said, let me find the Imam. I went from one majlis to another majlis to another majlis, trying to see where is Hazrat sitting. He's a great scholar, so I need to be in the majlis where he is. There must be some hikmat and wisdom where he is. Allah make us maaf today. We can say, وَكُنْتُ أَدُورُ سُوق إِلَى سُوق, from one market to another market, from one mall to another mall, from one shop to another shop. They used to move from the majlis to majlis. We move where? And sometimes the saman, the goods, the commodities of Medina Munawwara, Allah make us maaf, is not good enough. So we need to go to Jeddah, we need to go to other places, we need to do a stopover and catch up on our shopping. So we shouldn't mix. Yes, it is permissible, there's fadail, whatever the reasons is. But ideally, if a person has to really do it, you want to take hadaya back home, then dedicate the last day or the second last day, whatever time is convenient based on the flights and packing, etc. And what you need to buy, then leave it for the last. If from the beginning, if you start, it doesn't end. So a person must make a choice. Jamaats in the past, when they used to go out in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, principle was, you go home with what you come. Don't even take a pen, don't take in a pencil, nothing. No benefit should be attained in Allah's path. So anyway, he said, I looked for Imam Ahmed in the Shabin, Arabiyin. So I found him in a gathering of a young Bedouin. And I sat next to Imam and I said, Ya Aba Abdullah, tarakta ibn Uyayna, indahu Zahri, wa Amr ibn Dinar. You've left such a great majlis of Ibn Uyayna. Zahri is there, Amr is there, Ziyad is there, Tabi'een. Allah knows best how many great luminaries are there. So he told me, oh scoot, keep quiet, shh, keep quiet. Why? Because if you must say a hadith, those are the majalis of hadith, then you'll find it somewhere else. There'll be another sanad, and it will not have your deen, fi dinika wala fi aqlika, no, your intellect and intelligence. But وَإِن فَاتَكَ أَقْلُ هَذَا الْفَتَى, if you are deprived of the intellect of this youngster, أَخَافُ أَلَّا تَجِدَهُ إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ, possibly to the Qiyamah you will be deprived, you will not find somebody of this caliber. مَا رَأَيْتُ أَحَدًا أَفْقَهَ فِي كِتَابِ اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ مِنْ هَذَا الْفَتَى الْقُرَشِيِّ. I've not found anybody more intellectual, more knowledgeable about the Book of Allah than this Qurayshi youngster. So I was shocked now. I said, Man hadha? Qala Muhammad ibn Idris. This is Idris al-Shafi'i. So the scholars sought, they looked forward for these moments to go to the Ahlullah, to the Ahlul Hadith, to the Ahlul Fiqh, to the Ulama Rabbaniyin. We should try to see also how we can spend a lot of our time in the sohbat, in the company of those ulama who will take us close to Allah. Abu Ja'far says that I look forward to the ayyam of Hajj to meet Amr ibn Dinar, فَإِنَّهُ كَانَ يُحِبُّنَا وَيُفِيدُنَا, because he used to show a lot of affection to us and we benefited a lot from him. Even the scholars of hadith, when documenting the chain of narrators and the history and their background, they would document kam hajj al-rawi, how much hajj had he completed, wasana, and which year, the details. وَمَنْ لَقِيَ فِي الْحَجِّ, who did he meet in the days of Hajj, وَكَيْفَ حَدَّثَ fil Hajj, and what narrations would he narrate. So Hajj and the Mubarak Safar to the Mubarak lands was filled with pious company. If nobody came to them during these days of Hajj, also they would doubt their own authenticity. Abdul Razak saying that Kadimtu Makkah, I came to Makkah al-Mukarramah and I stayed there for 3 days, and the Ashabi Hadith never came to visit me, the scholars of Hadith. فَمَضَيْتُ وَطُفْتُ وَتَعَلَّقْتُ بِأَسْتَارِ الْكَعْبَةِ. So I was very restless, I was worried, and I did my tawaf and I went to the ghilaf of the Kaaba and I said, Ya Rabbi Mali akadhabun ana. Ya Allah, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Am I a liar? Am I a liar? Because in those days, if somebody was not genuine, authentic, then people would not go to them to listen to hadith and get the sanad. So here, he was worried that how come I'm here for 3 days and nobody's come to visit me to take benefit. فَرَجَعْتُ إِلَى الْبَيْتِ. When I returned, then after returning from the Kaaba, many people came to me to take benefit. They were restless. So the adab and the etiquettes of these places, how do we take benefit and fulfill these requirements? And part of that is also when we do in the different amal, the muraqabah, the pondering and the awareness when we are doing the amal as well. So different mashayikh have highlighted the different forms of muraqabah and how important the muraqabah is. But one of the muraqabahs which our mashayikh and Hazrat Shaykh Zakaria rahmatullah alayhi Kandahlawi has highlighted was the muraqabah of death. So this depicts the death mode and akhirah, the year after as well. So a person is going for Hajj Firstly, his shauq to meet Allah. Man ahabba liqa Allah, ahabba Allahu liqa'ahu. Whoever is desirous, averse to meet Allah, Allah is desirous to meet them also. Somebody senior wants to meet you, they'll give you an invite. And if you're not there on time, they'll say, hey, where you? When you come in, the senior will worry about the junior. وَمَنْ كَرِهَ لِقَاءَ اللَّهِ كَرِهَ اللَّهُ لِقَاءَهُ. And whoever dislikes meeting Allah, then likewise Allah is disinclined to them as well. This Haji now is leaving his home. This Mu'tamir, this person doing Umrah, is leaving his home and he's bidding farewell first to his loved ones, his relatives. And now when he leaves his house, everybody that he had met, etc., doesn't come with him. All the family may come to the house. I'm leaving this time. The neighbors will come. The people of the locality will come. But now he is leaving his home. He is leaving his family. He's leaving his business. He's leaving his property. He's leaving the company of his friends. So when a person dies as well, then that is similar to the situation of a Haji, a Mu'tamir. When one passes away, then he leaves all of this here as well. Then similarly, all his attachments, all his things that is beloved to him, he leaves those things as well. So a time will come, this is a lighter departure compared to the departure of the death. Then he leaves his house now, all his saman, his goods are in the vehicle, and he's in the car now and he's leaving his town. So he gets into the vehicle. In those days they used to have horses, catch a train, catch whatever conveyance. And as he leaves his hometown, he goes further away from his beloved ones and his belongings. So as he's moving in that vehicle, it's as if people have lifted his janazah and he's in the vehicle to the Qabristan. People have carried him, lifted on the shoulders, and they're moving him further away from everything that he loves. Everything that he loves. So Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam has highlighted this. أو كما قال يتبع الميت ثلاثة. Three things follow a deceased. فيرجع اثنان. Two things return. ويبقى واحد. One remains with him. يتبعه أهله وماله وعمله. So when a person passes away, then they carry the janazah. His family is there. Maybe they come in with his vehicles, his cars, so his assets, his property, all his part of his belongings, and his amal. فَيَرْجِعُ أَهْلُهُ وَمَالُهُ. They throw him in the qabr, they bury him in the qabr, they place him in the qabr, and they gone back to their normal lives. إِلَّا مَا شَاءَ اللَّهِ. His wealth also is gone. وَيَبَقَى أَمَلُهُ. The only thing that remains with behind him was his amal. So this is the same situation. So as a person is moving now, then people go with him. Some of them accompany him to the airport. Now everybody is at the airport. And then they bid the final farewell. Like when he gets his boarding pass, his bags are checked in. And now he's ready to go. That's the final farewell. So the close relatives who even accompany him, there's only some very close ones who goes with him in the qabr. So some people have the luxury of going further in with him, the last. And there's a stage where nobody can go with him. The sand is thrown and now he has nobody with him. The only thing that's with him now is in the qabr is his amal. So now a person who had a lot of amal, well, it'll depend now what his comfort levels are on this journey here. Likewise, a person in the qabr. So when your amal is your currency and your amal is the company. So there's other hujjaj that are with you on the journey. Some of them are ill-tempered, some of them are quarrelsome, some of them make your life a nightmare. So like that, you have bad amal that will make a nightmare, or good amal that will assist the person in every situation. You ran short of food, you ran short of money, something happened, they'll be there to protect you and be on your side. Like good deeds in the qabr, they'll come in the form of a handsome person. A person who had a lot of amal, now he booked on business class. A person who had more amal, he'll be on first class. A person who had super amal will have his own private jet. So in the qabr as well, waiting for hashr, it'll depend now on the amal, on what your comfort levels. Those people that are in economy will have to wait at the airport. That person who had the business first class, the platinum members, they'll first go to the lounge, they'll unwind, they'll have the 5-course meal, they'll get refreshed, they'll have a shower. That's even before the flight. Then announcement is made that you need to board. So the average person was waiting all the time. Then he waited in the lines. Then economy passengers are waiting and waiting and waiting. He goes, finishes up, ate properly, showered, is good to go. Obviously, it'll depend where a person is tying his ihram, but just for this example, we mention in these points here. So a person now goes to the boarding gates. There's a separate lane for him. There's the blue, there's the red, there's the VIP carpet. Somebody who's got super wealth, then they will have super VIP service as well. So a person's got a private jet, he'll be escorted, he'll have everything to his heart's desire without any stress. He won't even have to carry his bags or his passport. There will be somebody who will be managing his affairs. He will go through the VIP service. Then a person is now on the plane. So again, your boarding pass, your amal will decide what will happen. And again, according to the person's amal. So let's say it's a country that you arrive now in. You've got immigration. They're going to check your passport, they're going to check your visa, etc. So the angels in the grave will interrogate the person. Munkar and Nakir will come and interrogate a person. And if his documents are in order, he will go through smoothly. If he's state protocol, if he's an ambassador, if somebody senior, he wouldn't have that taklif at all. And if a person was not, then there's snakes, there's scorpions, there's other punishments. He will be arrested, he will be put in prison. So the book of deeds are very important, and this will make a difference. Al-Ka'batu Qiblatukum. The Kaaba is your Qibla. Ahya wa amwat. Whether you are alive or dead, the Qibla is our Kaaba. So the person who is in the qabr as well is placed facing Qibla. This Haji also is going towards the Qibla, the Baytullah. His whole safar is the Qibla, and Qibla direction. If we have the right direction, so think about it, when a person reads Salah, he's looking for the direction of Qibla. So his Salah will be accepted. But it's actually a similitude in our life. In every second, we need to look for direction. We face in the Qibla, showing that we will follow Allah's commands, but our life, in actual fact, is not facing the Qibla. It is not according to Allah's commands. It's not facing the pattern which Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam has shown us. So a person doesn't have to go through all this interrogation. Then Qiyamah will come as well. So a person who has a VIP service will not go through that. Some people are in the Hajj terminal. Sometimes a day, 2 days, 3 days can pass. The bags got missing. There's no people to even find their bags, and the different turmoil. But a person who went with his own private jet doesn't bother about anything. So the currency of the akhirat is very important. And when we do in this journey, we should really think and ponder that each stage, where and what needs to be done. A person wore the ihram in the safar, it's 2 white cloths. So again, here a reminder of death. So inshallah we'll continue on this muraqabah of death and the similitude which this momentous occasion has taught us. Amongst the amal for Hajj is, Nabi alayhi salam said, Isbiru abshiru. Be patient, remain patient and rejoice. So a Haji should be patient and be hopeful that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept his sacrifices. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen.